Dear boys, today let us study the second chapter of your social and political life, and the name of the topic is diversity and discrimination. Diversity means variety or different, and discrimination means the unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people, especially on the ground of race, age, sex, or disability. Boys, in the previous chapter, you have discussed the meaning of diversity. We have learned what is diversity in our previous chapter, in chapter number 1. Sometimes people who are different from others are teased, laughed at, or not included in a certain activity or group. Sometimes people who are different, who are not same with other people, so they used to tease on them, people used to tease on them, laughed at, or not included in a certain activity or group. They are not including in certain activity or group. Such things should not be practiced, boys. We feel hurt, angry, helpless, or sad when friends or others treat us in such ways. So whenever anybody treat us in this way, we feel hurt ourselves, we get angry, we become helpless, and we feel sad. Have you ever wondered why this happens? Have you ever filled out why this happens? So in this chapter, we will try to explore how such experiences are related to the society we live in. So in this very chapter, we will try to explore or elaborate how such experiences is related with our society where we live in. We will look at how they are connected to the inequalities that exist around us. Moreover, we will look at how they are connected to the inequalities that exist in our surrounding area. Difference and prejudice. There are many things that make us what we are, how we live, the languages we speak, what we eat, what we wear, the games we play, and the things we celebrate. So, there are many things that make us what we are, and how we live, and in which language we used to speak, what do we eat, which dress we wear, which games we play, and the things we celebrate. All of these are influenced both by the geography and history of the place where we live. So this everything, it affect on the character both by the geography and history of that place where we are living. You will get an idea of how diverse India is if you look even briefly at the following statement. You will get that clear picture here, that clear idea of how diverse means how different India is if you look even briefly at the following statement. Let us see the first fact. There are 8 major religions in the world. So there are eight major religions in the world. Every single one of them is practiced in India. So you see, these all eight major religions, these are practiced in our country, India. We have more than let us see the second fact. We have more than 1600 languages that are people's mother tongues, and there are more than 100 dance forms. So, children, we have more than 1600 languages, which are mother tongues of the people who are living here. Mother tongue means one who is to speak that language at their home right from the childhood. As example, those who belongs to Manipuri or Meitei, Manipuri is their mother tongue. Those who belongs to Nepali, so Nepali is their mother tongue likewise. And there are more than 100 dance forms, more than 100 dance types. These are found here. So I think here you got the basic idea of how India is diverse. Yet this diversity is not always celebrated. This diversity is not always celebrated. Means this is many a time we think that it is not good and its importance are not acknowledged. This is because we feel safe and secure with people who look, talk, dress, and think like us. It is because of we feel safe and secure with people who look, talk, dress, and think like us. Sometimes when we meet people who are very different from us, we may find them strange and unfamiliar. Sometimes when we meet people who are very different, who are not same as us, who are very different from us, we may find them strange, we may find them peculiar and not known or recognized. At times we may not understand or know the reasons why they are different from us. So at times that means we can't understand or know what is the reason behind it, why they are different from us. People also form certain attitudes and opinions about others who are not like them. People they also have different attitude, uh, different moods, different opinions about others who are not same like them. So now let us see the second page. Prejudice. Look at the statements below that you believed to be true about rural and urban life in India. Tick mark those that you agree with. So before doing this, boys, two questions as given here. Do you have a prejudice against rural or urban people? Find out if this is shared by others and discuss the reasons why people have these prejudices. So you have to do it yourself. The second one, can you list some of the prejudices that you have noticed around you? How do they affect the ways in which people treat each other? So the first part, that means you will answer prejudice against caste. Prejudice, second point will be prejudice against color. Third point will be prejudice against sex. Fourth point will be prejudice against education. So on rural people, now let us see, you have to tick here as direction has already given. On rural people, more than 50% of all Indians live in villages. No boy, this is wrong. So you uh, put a cross mark in the box. Wrong. Then next one. People in villages do not like to use modern technology. Wrong. According to the advance of the country, people they like it. The modern technology. Next one. In peak harvesting and plantation season, families spend 12 to 14 hours working in the fields. This is right. Correct. Villagers are forced to migrate to cities in search of work. Nobody forced them. So close it. Now let us see in the on urban people. Life in the city is easy. People here are spoiled and lazy. This is wrong. In cities, families spend very little time with each other. Right. People in cities only care about money, not about people. Right. There, that means only seeking how to earn money. They do not bother about people. Next one. Living in a city is expensive. Yes, it needs much money to spend life. A large part of people's earnings is spent on rent and transport. Obviously, boys, this is right. Some of these statements see villagers as ignorant. Ignorant means lacking of knowledge. Some of these statements we find here, the villagers, they are lacking of knowledge, and see people in cities as money minded and lazy, and people those who are living in cities, they are money minded, so they are interested in collecting money. That is called money minded and lazy. When our opinions about certain people are always negative, about certain people, our opinions, it remains always negative, seeing them as lazy, stingy. Stingy means mean, as some of these statements. Then these become prejudices that we carry about them. Now here and there, let us see prejudice. Boys, prejudice means to judge other people negatively. Mark it, underline it. What is prejudice? Or what do you mean by prejudice? Prejudice means to judge other people negatively or see them as inferior. Okay, it is a strong, unreasonable feeling of not trusting somebody, especially when it is based on her race, religion, or sex. When we think that only one particular way is the best and right way to do things, we often end up not respecting others. See, when we think that only one particular way, it is best and right way to do things, at the time we often end up not respecting others. Respecting of others we used to forget here. Who may prefer to do things differently. We like to do things in a different way. For example, if we think English is the best language and other languages are not important, we are judging these other languages negatively. As example, you see, boys, if we think English it is the best language and other languages are not important, they are useless. So here we are judging this other language to compare with English, those other languages we are judging in a negative way. As a result, we might not respect people who speak languages other than English. As a result of this, what will happen? We might not respect those people who are not speaking in English. We can be prejudiced about many things, people's religious beliefs, the color of their skin, the region they come from, the accent they speak in, the clothes they wear, etc. So we can be prejudiced about many things which are cited under. It is based on people's religious beliefs, the color of their skin, and the region they come from, the accent they speak in, the clothes they wear, based on that, etc. Often our prejudices about others are so strong that we don't want to form friendship with them. See, our prejudices at that time about others are so strong, which do not allow us to form friendship with them. We dislike to make friendship with them. It is because of our prejudices. At times, we may even act in ways that hurt them. Sometimes, we may even act in such a way we are hurting them. Boys, this attitude should not possess by any one of us. Creating stereotypes. Stereotypes means a fixed idea about a particular type of person, which is not often true in reality. Truly, it is not that way. A fixed idea about a particular type of person, okay? Creating stereotypes. All of us are familiar with gender differences. Everyone, we know that. The differences, that means of gender, sex. What does it mean to be a boy or a girl? Many of you would say we are born as boys and girls. It is a given. What is there to think about? Let's see if this is the case. Here, boys, you do it. Based on that, you have to arrange the statements given below in these two sections according to what you think is appropriate for the section. For boys, for girls, it will different. So according to that gender or sex, that means you have to put that statements which has given here. After that, you have to check with your teacher's help. Okay, that means here we cannot guide who has put that one. Later on, if we get chance, we will do. If we take the statement, they don't cry, you will see that this is a quality that is generally associated with boys. and man. As babies or children, when boys fall and hurt themselves, their parents and other family members often console them by saying, "Don't cry." Okay, we find here, boys. As babies or children, when they sleep, they fell and hurt themselves, their parents and other family members, they always used to console them. "Oh, don't cry, baby, don't cry. You are a boy." They used to say, "You are a boy, so boys should be brave. So you should not cry, my dear boy." Boys are brave, they don't cry. They used to mention this type of statements also. Boys are generally brave, they never used to cry. As children grow up, they start believing that boys do not cry, so that even if a boy feels like crying, he stops himself from doing so. So, as children grow up, they start believing that boys never used to cry easily, so that even if a boy feels like crying, he stops himself from doing so. Means he do not cry. He also believes that crying is a sign of weakness. Moreover, he believes that crying it is a sign of weakness. It makes him weak. So even though both boys and girls sometimes want to cry, especially if they are angry or in pain, as they grow older, boys learn or teach themselves not to cry. See, as a result of this, boys, so even though both boys and girls sometimes want to cry because of pain or anything, especially if they are angry or in pain, as they grow older, boys learn or teach themselves not to cry. They bear their pain, they control their angry rather than crying. If a grown boy cries, then he feels that others will either tease him or laugh at him, and so he stops himself from doing so in front of others. So, if a grown boy is to cry, then he feels what? That others will either tease him or they will laugh at him. And that's why he stops himself from doing so. He stops himself from crying. He do not cry there in front of others, so that people also will not laugh on him or tease him. This is the way boys are, and this is how girls are. So the differences of boys and girls we find here. These are statements we hear constantly. Constantly means continuously over a period of time, and accept without even thinking. And we used to accept them without thinking. And we start believing that each one of us must behave accordingly. And we also started what? To believe that each and every one of us, we must do in the same manner accordingly. We fit all boys and all girls into an image that society creates around us. Fit all boys and all girls into an image that society creates around us. When we fix people into one image, we create a stereotype. When people say that those who belong to a particular country, religion, sex, race, or economic background are stingy, lazy, criminal, or dumb, they are using stereotypes. So here that means they are using these stereotypes. There are stingy and generous people everywhere. Stingy, that means I already told you, mean and generous people are present everywhere. In every country, in every religion, in every group, whether rich or poor, male or female, they are found. Stingy and generous people are found. And just because some people are like that, it is not fair to think that everyone will be the same. And just because some or a few people are like that, so we cannot judge it. It is to say that or to think that everyone will be the same. Everyone will be like them. Stereotypes stop us from looking at each person as a unique individual with his or her own special qualities and skills that are different from others. Stereotypes, it is to stop us from looking at each person as unique individual, quite different individual with his or her own special qualities and skills that are different from others. They fit large numbers of people into only one pattern of or type. They used to fit a great number of people, large numbers of people into only one pattern or into only one type. Stereotypes affect all of us as they prevent us from doing certain things that we might otherwise be good at. See, stereotypes it affect all of us as they prevent us from doing certain things. It saves us from doing certain things that we might otherwise be good at. Let's up to here for today. Thank you all.